What is Pokemon's biggest failure? Some people would say, let's go Pikachu and Eevee. Some people would say, making any more games after Generation 1. Some people would say Scarlet and Violet. But Did You Know Gaming has preserved Pokemon's biggest failure. I absolutely love Did You Know Gaming's channel. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So today we're going to take a look at what exactly the biggest failure was.
The death of a beloved icon.
Okay, that's not a great start.
Pokemon executives racing to take advantage. The imprisonment of an author. This is the story of Pokemon's greatest failure.
Oh my, okay, wait, is this it? Is this some kind of like newspaper comic? Oh my god, poor Celebi. You see Celebi in the background there? Goodness gracious me. So we have like Ash here. I mean, the art's not terrible by any means. I mean, it's a little cute. It's a different kind of style than what we're used to. Looks like this is what, in Johto? Something like that?
It flops so hard we can almost guarantee you've never heard it before.
I genuinely have never seen this before in my life. Here's Ash saying, "What do you suppose will happen next, Pikachu? Will we battle Team Rocket, discover new Pokemon, meet old friends in new places?" Team Rocket is right there. What are you saying? This is like what the narrator says at the end of an episode.
And it all stems from a plan that was supposed to make the Pokemon Company billions, but the only thing it ended up earning was embarrassment. Understandably, the company's not too keen on preserving the story or its fruits, but today we're gonna tell it and upload all that remains to the Internet Archive for preservation.
Oh yeah, this looks very American. Look at this. Okay, so we have all the biggest hits. We have Ash's mom, Ash, Misty, Brock, Gary, Muck. Oh my god, Muck. Are you okay, Muck? What has happened to Muck? Can we fix Muck, please? And Ditto.
This is the story of Pikachu meets the press.
Oh no, not the mainstream media.
It's a bizarre tale, and as is often the case on this channel, some folks might not believe it. So right off the bat, we're gonna outline our sources to back it all up. To get the facts, we had to translate a good chunk of a 600-page Japanese book called Pokemon Story, which was co-authored by Masakazu Kubo, who—
Oh, hey, so yeah. Yeah, if you look at the katakana, see, you can see it says Pokemon right there. I bet most people wouldn't even know that this book even exists in the first place. That's what I like about Did You Know Gaming is they really dig into the meat and bones of things with a lot of things. They uncover new untold stories with a lot of YouTube channels, and there's nothing wrong with this. They'll kind of retell the same things over and over again that is probably quite well known to a lot of people in that community. But Did You Know Gaming actually digs new information up, or at least finds new articles, finds new things that people have said that you really haven't seen before.
Who behind the scenes was the most important Pokemon executive you've probably never heard of.
Nope, yep, never heard of him. Been playing the franchise for too many years. Definitely heard of this guy.
And he's often called the father of Pokemon. Back in the earliest days of the franchise, he was the guy promoting it in magazines like Koro, helping Pokemon get a head start when no one else cared.
Oh my god, that's incredible. Koro was the magazine that things from new Pokemon games would leak in all the time. Everyone would wait for the Koro leaks to see what new cool things would be in the new games. And they'd go as far as to have fake Koro leaks, where people would make fake magazine pictures and posters and put it online on like 4chan and things like that to try and trick people into believing that the Koro leak had a new mega super Furfrou, and it was incredibly powerful, and they try and fake these gameplay screenshots to put on a picture of a magazine page that didn't actually exist. And whenever these new Koro scans and Koro leaks would come out, YouTubers would make videos on it, like myself. I used to make videos on these because it would just show all this new information because they didn't upload trailers back in the day. In ORAS days, oh my god, ORAS was almost 10 years ago now. That's ridiculous. Back in ORAS days, they didn't upload trailers for the most part. They would always promote things in magazines instead. And it feels so recent, but it feels so far away at the same time. We're all aging. Time is never ending and always marching forward.
His company, Shogakukan, owns a lot of Pokemon's printing and animation rights, and Kubo himself was executive producer of the early movies and anime. His book Pokemon Story is an extremely detailed account of Pokemon as a business, advertising budgets, marketing strategies, the kind of stuff PokeTubers don't usually cover.
Yes, we do not, because people don't really care too much about that kind of thing.
Pokemon Story is where a lot of this video's info comes from, along with bits and pieces from various other old Japanese magazines. Okay, so with all that sourcing made clear, let's get this tale unfurled. It was the year 2000, the dawn of the Pokemon era. But the sun was also setting on the era of a comic strip called Peanuts. Circulating in over 2,000 newspapers reaching hundreds of millions of readers, Charlie Brown and his dog Snoopy were up there with Mickey Mouse as some of the most recognized and beloved characters of all time.
It's true. Even I used to enjoy this. I used to love these comic strips. I wonder how many of the new kids in today's day and age actually have seen these characters before. You have to know Snoopy. You know Snoopy and Charlie Brown. You've seen them somewhere, surely.
The first comic written by Charles Schulz in 1950, some people called Peanuts the longest story ever told by one human being. It had been adapted into movies, TV shows, toys, everything Pokemon was now becoming. But tragically, in early 2000, Charles Schulz was dying of cancer. His comic writing days were over. Pokemon's corporate leaders saw an opening, so they all got together to work out how to take his place. According to Pokemon Story, with Snoopy now finished, of the 2,000 newspapers across America, at least 200 now had empty pages that urgently need filling.
Okay, I don't feel like this is so much oh, they're a piece of shit. They're just trying to take his place. They're trying to muscle in where he was kind of thing. It's like, oh, this comic book strip is going to end, unfortunately, before its time. And now there is this space that is going to be filled by something. Why don't we try and be the thing that fills that space? I imagine Pokemon wanted to get more into like the American audience and things like that. So being in comic strips, to be more in that, be into more of the, what do they call it, the cultural zeitgeist, would probably be a good idea for them. I don't think it was nefarious in intention. It was definitely for their own benefit, obviously, but it was going to be filled by something, right?
Earnings from serialization are small, but the royalties from compilation books are considerable, and Pokemon can copy the path of Peanuts, greeting millions
That's straight up just being like, hey, we want to be that guy now. Yeah, it's
of
okay.
Americans in their homes every morning was a profitable marketing opportunity. But with Charles Schulz on his deathbed, the clock was ticking. Pokemon Company President Tsunekazu Ishihara asked, "How much power do these newspapers have?" Someone answered, "They come out daily, so it's beyond measure. We don't want to miss this window of opportunity. Now's the perfect timing, but it's coming down to the wire."
Okay, that's a crazy quote. Now is the perfect timing. Like, ugh, I mean, yeah, it's
ultimately decided, even
rough.
if the comic itself didn't make much money, the exposure was equivalent to $2 billion worth of advertising.
They get paid an exposure. Yes, finally the big companies get paid an exposure.
Just for 200 newspapers. Presumably, if they could take all 2,000 papers currently putting out Peanuts, it'd be worth billions more. Next to the games.
Oh, they're so short too. It's just 5 panels. That's really it. That's really, really small. Like the Garfield comics, they used to only be what, like 3 or 4 panels, usually in a newspaper, where they tell these really, really short tales.
Anime and trading cards. These comics would be Pokemon's 4th pillar holding up their plan to win the West. 1 week after that meeting, Charles Schulz was dead. The Pokemon Company had to act fast. To write the comic, they hired Gerard Jones. Back in 2000, he was a respected author working for both of the big two, Marvel and DC Comics.
Man, they must have paid him a ton. I mean, they would have had Pokemon money, but they wouldn't have had Pokemon money back then because it was early, 2000? The year 2000, that was just after Gold, Silver, Crystal, or Gold, Silver would have came out. So they would have had like a decent chunk of money, but they're not huge, and they're trying to get into the American audience. They're trying to get into the American culture and all that. But to snipe this chap who's got Justice League on his repertoire, who's got the Green Lantern. Oh, I don't know if the Green Lantern's that popular, but you know.
Writing stuff like Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, plus the English versions of Pokemon Adventures and Dragon Ball.
Okay, now that's pretty big. Pretty big. It's the English version of Dragon Ball, and this was 2000. Dragon Ball at that point had been going on for, since the 80s, the mid-80s. So it wasn't exactly a new kid on the block. It wasn't just becoming popular in America. It's been a pretty big thing for a while at that point.
So on paper, at least, Jones probably seemed like the perfect guy for the job. To do the art, they got Ashura Benimaru Ito. Throughout the 90s, he'd done Super Metroid comics, Earthbound, Star Fox comics. Again,
ooh, that's that is definitely a style. I'm not sure if I gel with this style.
The best man for the job. He also did some miscellaneous Pokemon art here and there.
I thought it was, no, it's not the Ken Sugimori art. It was the, ooh, yeah. Those are, I'm sorry, I love artists. It's a little ugly.
With Pokemon Snap standing out as some of his best. Ashura was an executive at Creatures Inc., co-owner of the Pokemon brand, and
That's kinda
objectively
cute.
the organization's quirkiest personality. He's really into wearing leopard skin clothes, sometimes with a tail, even to business meetings. To quote the late great Satoru
Oh my
Iwata,
God.
things always get weird when Ashura shows up. He was always doing stuff like making CG models of himself in leopard skins, growling.
What? Dude, he's obsessed. What is going on? He wears it every day of his life, and he makes art of himself that says growl.
Printed them out as stickers and handed them out to everyone in his office. Quirky though he may be, Ashura's literally a rock star, not to mention a hell of an artist. With seasoned veterans like Jones and Ashura behind the wheel, the new Pokemon comic was primed for success.
Jesus Christ, this is the funniest group. This is like the golden retriever boyfriend and like the panther emo girlfriend to the left there.
Before we dive further into this story, a word from this video's sponsor, Persona 3 Reload. Persona 3 Reload is a turn-based RPG and reimagining of the pivotal game in the Persona series.
Look at the anime!
3 Reload has a self-contained story, and now with its faithfully rebuilt modern graphics and quality-of-life improvements, it's a great place to jump into the series.
For the first time?
The game's modern-day alternate universe setting creates a recognizable and unnerving atmosphere that blurs the boundaries between the ordinary and the supernatural.
Just look at those graphics.
All while the game explores the human psyche and themes of death, morality, and the meaning of life. Persona 3 Reload's intense turn-based battles will have you harnessing the unique strengths of your Persona repertoire to gain the upper hand.
I can't
your
wait!
Party's actions and thinking up new strategies will be vital for overcoming the game's ever-increasing challenges.
I hope I'm smart enough for this.
In Persona 3 Reload, you'll forge deep social connections, engage in lively and strategic battles, and unravel a gripping story that'll have you hooked. And if you're a Persona 3 veteran, Reload has tons of new content like new side stories and new personas. For all this and more,
That's a lot. That's a lot for such a low price of however much it costs.
check out Persona 3 Reload, available for pre-order right now, and launches February 2nd, 2024 on Xbox
It's already
Series
out.
X and S, Xbox One, Windows, Steam, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4.
Well, I've been sold to. I'm going to get Persona 3 Reload available now on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Xbox Steam, Xbox PlayStation 5, and Xbox PlayStation 4 5.
Now back to Pokemon. As well as Jones and Ashura, bringing up the rear was an experienced three-person editorial team, along with additional support from Nintendo, Creatures Inc., Viz, and Creators Syndicate. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, they don't look that bad. They look kind of cute. Like, phew, after Pokemon Training Academy, regular school will be a snap, Pikachu.
The Pokemon trainers are allowed to bring Pokemon to school only if they aren't disruptive.
You hear that, Ash? You better put away that crazy Pikachu of yours. Hey, it's your Squirtle who's the disruptive one. Is that it? Was that the comic strip?
First strip debuted a few months later, starring Ash, Misty, and Pikachu on their
keeps
first
going.
day of school. Yeah, they go to actual school where they learn history and U.S. government.
Okay, it's U.S. government. Are you serious? Your Pikachu never does what you say. My squirrel's perfectly trained. Yeah, but look at your squirrel's trainer. If everyone's gonna disrupt school, it'll be bam, 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 bam. They stop fighting. And bam, 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 bam. See, I told you so.
Back to that later. Over its
Oh wait, that wasn't that bad. I kind of liked it. It was short, sweet, to the point. It had like a beginning, middle, and end. I don't dislike that. Why is it so bad?
Brock, Ash's mom, and Gary showed up as regular characters too, along with some Pokemon more than others, especially Pikachu and Metapod. Color comics on
Metapods,
Sunday,
what?
Black and White the rest of the week. The Black and Whites each had a hidden Pokemon, like this one for example. Can you spot the hidden Magnemite?
Oh, the hidden Magnemite? Yeah, dude, I can spot it easy. Are you kidding me? It's so easy to find. All you have to do is you just have to take a look in the book. That's all you have to do. It's just where is this freaking Magnemite? Oh wow, this is a tough one actually. Where's this little guy? So there's a Rapidash here, there's a Metapod there, there's Pikachu, it's Pikachu again. No, I actually can't see the Am I an idiot? I can't see the Magnemite. Can you see the Magnemite? Where is it? I don't know.
It's right here.
What? Ah! Okay, I am an idiot. I'm dumb.
Sunday comics often had puzzles attached, like Poke word searches or Who's That Pokemon type stuff. Now's probably a good time to mention, our longtime friend and art preservationist Hi-Res Pokemon scanned every single strip in high resolution for us. So huge thanks to that legend. And there
what an absolute legend. See, this is so important for preservation and things like that. Honestly, I'm not seeing what's so bad about this right now.
be a download link in this video's description if you want to read them all and do the puzzles yourself. A lot of storylines were spread out over a week or two's worth of newspapers, then they were finished, like Ash preparing for a battle against Gary and getting beat, for example. Other stories were peppered.
Imagine getting to the end of the week and you're like, oh boy, I can't wait to see Ash beat Gary. And you just wait for this the entire week and then he just get absolutely trolloped and trounced.
Throughout the whole series, as sort of the main recurring plot lines. Like,
Did Ash catch him? Not even a card for Valentine's Day. He has no idea how terrible I feel.
Oh, I'd say I have some idea.
The fact that they're like insinuated to be dating there is a little weird. I don't know. They're not supposed to be dating. That's kind of going against what the characters are all about, right?
like Misty crushing on Ash, which peaked on Valentine's with a week of Misty badgering him for a romantic gesture. Another was Brock's horniness, similar to the kind of horn dogging you see in the anime, chasing
Hey, at least that's law accurate. That's canon.
around Misty's sisters, random women, stuff like that. One of the more memorable strips has Brock practicing his flirting skills with his Vulpix.
What? Okay, hold on. I want to read this one.
Well, hello there. Either you've done something new with your hair or I've just awakened from a trance. Haha. You mean you're new at this school? I must have seen you in my dreams. Thank Vulpix. Now Brock the Master Flirt is ready to tackle the weak.
Some lucky Pokemon only have to go to battle for their trainers. To battle for Jesus Christ, this thing is traumatized. That poor Vulpix. Also, there's a Marowak in the background. I see it. I've seen the hidden Marowak. Yep, I found the hidden Marowak there. I see it.
Who's clearly uncomfortable with the situation. Then there's one where Ditto transforms into a hot chick. Brock catcalls at her. Then even after it's exposed as Ditto, Brock's still down for it. But probably the most original.
Hey, at least he's true to himself, and that's the main important
An
thing.
extensive recurring plot was the one devoted to Metapod, who's very philosophical and depressed because of his immobility. The problem was, they weren't very funny, or even entertaining. With very few exceptions, the comics were just plain bad. On this channel,
Oh,
we
really? Am I an idiot? I kind of like them a little
usually
bit.
leave our opinions aside, but most of y'all will never read the comics outside of this video. So we hope you'll forgive us for feeling we need to slip on our reviewer hats. And hey, our criticisms line up with a lot of the critiques levied back in the day. But we know what's good or bad is subjective and a matter of taste.
All right, let's try this one. Can you find the Charizard?
Metapod, how can you enjoy being ambivalent? It makes my head hurt.
But Psyduck, ambivalence frees me from the pressure of having to be sure about my choices. Of course, I might be happier if I was sure about some things, but I guess I'm just ambivalent about ambivalence. Okay, that one kind of sucks. That was not funny. I will admit, that was not funny. I found the Charizard, though. I found the Charizard. Yeah, that is over the heads of every single child. No one is understanding this.
So here, we'll let you make up your own mind while we read one of the Metapod strips. Psyduck says, Metapod, how can you enjoy being ambivalent? It makes my head hurt. Metapod replies, but Psyduck, ambivalence frees me from the pressure of having to be sure about my choices. Of course, I might be happier if I was sure of
This feels like it's going for a completely different target audience. I don't know why this was aimed at kids.
Then Psyduck hams it up for the camera. Unfunniness aside, most kids wouldn't even know what ambivalence means.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of y'all watching, and maybe some of you thought that was hilarious. So let's do one more. Here's Ash and his mom watching TV. The news is talking about how the stock market's doing, the Slovakian embassy, and the presidential inauguration.
Okay, dude. Why are they doing this? Who's writing this, man? We know who's writing this.
Switches over to a Pokemon battle. Ash takes out his earplugs and proclaims, "The secret to life is knowing when to pull out the earplugs."
What does that even mean? What does that mean?
The secret to life is knowing when to pull out the earplugs.
And that's a smackdown for the reigning Pokemon Tournament champion.
What is funny is this entire thing was the Pokemon Company's attempt to win over American adults. Maybe that explains the sometimes high-level vocabulary. Talking to Japanese Nintendo Online magazine in 2000, the so-called father of Pokemon, Masakazu Kubo, explained the brand's next big step for global dominance.
Did they do this for Japanese adults as well? Did they try to make comic strips or just things with like high-level, highbrow humor with the Pokemon franchise? Were they doing that with adults?
What I'm most intrigued by now is the expansion into newspapers in America. If it's a success, Pokemon will be like Peanuts. Up till now, all the creativity behind Pokemon came from Japan, but now Americans are coming up with their own ideas to expand the Pokemon brand in entirely new ways. Getting into newspapers will be the first time Pokemon culture is presented as something for adults. I'm incredibly excited about it.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with trying, right?
Maybe this targeting of adults explains why the comics put so much focus on Ash's mom, but
all right, I mean, we have Ash catch him. Can't you get control of your Pokemon before they destroy the entire house? And your bike is in the driveway. Your mirror's a mess. The leaves need to be raked. You're right, Mom, but doesn't being trapped under a 1,014-pound Snorlax earn me a little slack? I'm in linens. Where are my linens? Okay, there. That was kind of bad, too. This is just I hate my kids. Oh my god, are we going to have a hate my... It's a good thing that Ash doesn't have a dad, or this would be filled with I hate my wife humor. Because, you know, back in the 2000s, the boomers, they love the I hate my wife humor. It'd be something like, yeah, I came to the Pokemon Regional Championships, but I don't care about these losers with their Pikachus. I just needed to get away from the ball and chain for a little bit. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Am I right? I hate my wife.
Honestly, these strips were more likely to make adults hate Pokemon and think it's stupid. We could read you a bunch of them, but we'll just take a quick look at 2. Ash's mom says, "That does it. My mind is set. I won't let Ash's Pokemon get to me anymore."
Good God, what is going on with Charmander? It looks like it's dead. It looks like its eyes have hollowed out and sunken back into its skull, and it looks like the undead version of Charmander from Pokemon Insurgents, actually.
Then Charmander's raising hell in the background. Mom makes an exasperated face, looks at the reader, and says, "Oh look, my curtains are on fire. Isn't that amusing? Ha, ha."
I feel like moms would fucking go crazy for this. My mom, genuinely, this is her kind of humor. She would absolutely love that. The kind of stuff where it's like, the kids are making you exasperated and you're trying your best to keep it cool and keep it under wraps. This is so relatable to moms. Also, I found the Kadabra. It's on the second panel right there. No, moms would go crazy for that
Here's
one.
Another. Mom relaxing on the couch. She says, "Ah, a whole hour gone by and Ash's Pokemon haven't gotten on my nerves the least little bit. I'll have to get up at 3 a.m. more often."
No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't hate this. I don't think it's really funny or anything like that. I think that for the target audience that they were going for, mums would love this. Unfortunately, mums don't read comic strips inside of newspapers, from what I know. I don't think that my mum has ever done that, and I can't think of any other mum in the world that has done this before.
Besides being not funny, these strips make Pokemon look annoying as hell. According to the guy writing...
That is true. The perspective that the adults have in these comic strips is that all the Pokemon are always annoying and it's always a negative interaction.
Gerard Jones, he wasn't much of a Pokemon fan himself. He got a lot of his Poke knowledge from his son Nicky, even though Nicky's quote allegiance had shifted to the competition. We take that to mean the Jones kid used to like Pokemon, but now he was on Team Digimon. Or maybe he meant Yu-Gi-Oh! Regardless, the author's lack of Poke experience shines through in his work. Stuff like referring to the Orange Islands simply as Orange Island, as if there's only one. Or when Misty says her Staryu evolved from rigorous training, when Staryu actually evolves via Waterstone. Also, Ash and friends have to go to school. Not Pokemon school, but like actual school.
To be fair, they probably should go to actual school.
Where he...
Oh my god, what is this? This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Reconstructional acts over the presidential veto tenure of the Office of the Act of 1876, while ratification of 29 states. Why have you done this? Why have you done this?
14th Amendment and the Electoral College. Very strange. And maybe this is getting into nitpicking territory, but a lot of the Find the Pokemon puzzles were stupidly easy, especially if they're supposed to be for adults. Here, try one out for yourself.
Okay, can you find the Doduo? Oh, yeah, it's almost pretty easy.
Doduo?
Yeah, I get it.
How about Ninetales?
All right. Come on, man. The Ninetales, really?
Yep, you got it. Also, this Connect the Dots Sunday puzzle's supposed to give us a Pokemon. Here's the solution they printed a week later.
Oh, it's Meowth, right? What happened to the Meowth? It has no it has no torso.
It doesn't look like any Pokemon we can think of. Deformed Meowth, maybe? And
yeah,
also,
it's kind of like a Meowth that has like less whiskers and also doesn't have a torso.
We love Ashura Ito. Very skilled artist, love his work. But it seems like he was trying to mesh his distinctive art style with what he thought American funny papers were supposed to look like. And a lot of the time, the results were just not great. Especially when Pikachu winks at the reader. It's a little funky. Also, his work here looks a bit rushed. A lot of Sunday strips fail to fill in pieces of the background, leaving empty space where there should have been color. In Pokemon Story, Ishihara and the other execs talk about how they're worried the comic's quality will suffer because they've got a rush while Charles Schultz is on his deathbed.
Oh, okay. That's Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Oh God, why would you say that? That's such a terrible thing for you to
That
say.
same meeting mentioned earlier, someone says, "We want very much to put out good content, but we don't have time."
Oh no! No! Damn, this is straight up the problem with the entire franchise. Maybe they want to do good content, but we don't have time to do good content. That is the entire problem with the Pokemon franchise in a nutshell. It's just been laid out to you right there.
We don't want to miss this window of opportunity. Then Kubo says, "We can do it. Those restrictions will be motivation. We already have the characters. We have the game story. We aren't starting from scratch."
That's a little copium, I have to be honest.
He wasn't wrong. If history's shown anything, it's that virtually any product with Pokemon stamped on it's guaranteed to print money. Unfortunately for those execs, this comic was so bad it managed to be the exception. Sometimes the story thread took weeks to get to the punchline, but the payoff was rarely worth the wait. One example, after Ash loses his battle against Gary, Clefairy spends 3 weeks blaming itself for the defeat, hiding in a cupboard,
Jesus Christ, this is going through an existential crisis for 3 weeks.
feeling insecure, crying, seeking reassurance. It just keeps going. Eventually, Ash's other Pokemon throw a party to cheer it up, but by then the reader's probably forgotten why Clefairy was even depressed in the first place.
Yeah, this is 3 weeks of real time.
Comic seems conscious of that fact. The in-strip characters can't remember either. Then Bulbasaur turns to the audience and says, "Too bad we didn't clip and save those strips." The comic was canceled almost immediately afterwards. Team Rocket make their first and only appearance in the final installment. Then Ash tells the reader, "Well, I guess we won't be seeing you in the funny papers anymore." So, long story short, it was bad. It failed to capture the hearts of American adults and probably didn't do much for the kids either.
How much money did they lose on
It
this?
certainly didn't bring in the billions of dollars the execs expected.
That's a big number. I can't blame them for going after it because that's a really, really big number with a lot of zeros behind
All
it too.
told, it only ran for 6 months before cancellation.
Okay, well, 6 months is like a decent amount of time though, isn't it?
September 2000 to March 2001. Somehow, the story gets even worse though. Years later, the comic's author Gerard Jones was arrested for possession and distribution of, we don't want to get demonetized. Let's just say it wasn't comics, but it was the kind of kiddie material that lands you in federal prison. A lot of it, actually. It had been going on for years. He uploaded some to a private YouTube channel, and it was YouTube
What?
themselves who called the cops.
You uploaded it to YouTube? That blows my mind. I can't imagine what is going through someone's mind. When was this? Was this 2000? Oh, I forgot. Oh, what year was that? It said, wait. It was 2018. He uploaded in 2018, or he got sentenced in 2018. So he might have been in prison for longer than that because he would have been arrested, obviously. But I can't imagine uploading. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely insane.
He uploaded some to a private YouTube channel, and it was YouTube themselves who called the cops. Jones did his time.
I'm glad that YouTube does that. I will admit.
And he's a free man nowadays.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for the YouTube humans that have to look at that and they have to like verify it and then call the police and be like, this is here and it's really bad and it needs to go. There are people that have to trudge through the absolute worst videos on the internet, like beheading videos and videos of people getting their eyes gouged out and killed in horrible ways and videos like child stuff. I feel so bad for them. Because someone has to do it at the end of the day, and that's a nightmare. You can only hope that that's something that the AI algorithms are good for. Maybe they can get better at detecting that sort of thing, but when they make mistakes, that's obviously a problem too.
Could have reached out to him for some behind-the-scenes info like we usually do in our videos, but this time, we're good. With the Pokemon
No, it's fine. It's okay.
Abject failure, and its author's crimes disgracing its already tarnished legacy.
Yeah, no, fuck this guy. This guy sucks. All of his content sucks. It's all terrible.
No wonder the Pokemon Company never acknowledges it. Fans don't seem interested in carrying its flag either. We couldn't find a single YouTube video about it, or even on this day in Pokemon history kind of tweets that are common for every other corner of the franchise. In fact, the last time anyone tweeted about it at all was over a year ago, from some guy lamenting that no one ever talks about it. Well, here you go, Jimmy. And like we said before, if you folks at home want to trot down memory lane, as of today, the entire series is freely available on Internet Archive. We've been kind of
wow.
brutal, but now with our reviewer hats off and our preservationist hat slipped back on, there's probably some folks with nostalgia for Pikachu Meets the Press. So for those folks, we hope y'all can still enjoy them. Links down below.
Well, it's good that we can preserve that kind of thing anyway. I think that most stuff related to, stuff in media that just gets lost and deleted forever it's a shame. It's a shame when that happens, even if it's not that good.
Page in Pokemon history just like this one coming up soon.
Oh, really?
Weirder, actually. So subscribe if you don't want to miss it. If you're looking
Sounds
for
like
something
you
to watch
should
right
subscribe if you haven't already to Did You Know Gaming, because they have another weird thing in Pokemon history coming up soon. They also have another video on F-Zero. They have the biggest discoveries. They have a lot of Pokemon-related videos, and they have a lot of Nintendo-related videos. So please do subscribe to Did You Know Gaming. It's absolutely worth your time. And if you want to see more of my dumb face, you can always subscribe to this channel as well.